Hi, your next challenge is entitled Check if a string contains only identical characters. You are to write a function that returns true if all characters in a string are identical and false otherwise. See the examples below. They really should have mixed lower and uppercase letters here to prove their point, but I imagine their intentions are to be case sensitive. So this one is all A's, so you get true, but notice the second example has a B swapped in there, so it's false. This is almost there, but it ends in an A, so it's false, and 2K's is true. I think that's clear enough. So let's go to the coding section. Please make an honest effort at this yourself. If you get stuck, feel free to resume the video and go to the internet as well for help. That's totally fair game. So I'll get on with mine. I'm going to offer 3 quick solutions in here. One is similar to what we touched on. I'm not going to do any kind of looping this time, but you can certainly do that for this. So yeah, I'm going to use some built-in methods. A few different. I'm going to introduce one new item as well. I like to try and do that in each video, give some kind of novel concept there that you can chew on. So we'll start with something that's hopefully a little familiar. I'm going to use, better be sure to return, right? They're expecting something from us, a Boolean. String any. And we've used this before, and we passed in a lambda function that helps us define a criteria. So we'll say, I like to use ch for character. The string is a character array, and as we examine each character, that'll be our input. I'm naming mine ch. I'm going to say string any. See, this character given is not equal to the very first character, right? So if we're going to match everything, we can just say, hey, take the first letter and then make sure everything matches that. That's essentially what I'm saying with this statement. One other thing before this that I would like to do is just verify that we have some input. We've used this is null or empty before. And this will ensure that we actually have some kind of string input here, meaningful input. And it better be, and we're going to mimic error handling just with this oversimplification for now because this video is not focused on that. You could throw an exception or take some other kind of approach, log, output, whatever you need to do. But so this is going to find if there's any character in the string that doesn't equal the first character, and that would be a violation, right? That means that we don't have, that all characters are not identical. So we actually want to invert that logic to return what they're expecting. And again, you can think of this as reading not any. There are not any characters that don't match the very first character. So hopefully that helps with reading and understanding it. Let's see. Let's give this a go. See what they say to us. Okay, we got an error. Not implicitly convert string type string to a bool. String any. What did I do here? On line 10. Oh, sure. Line 10. I don't know what I was thinking there. We'll just say return false. They're expecting a Boolean, right? A string does not qualify as a Boolean. That was gibberish that I wrote there. So the compiler called me on it, and I corrected myself. Failed. We got a... Okay, so we ran, but we had a failed case. Any character. Expected true, but was false for the first test, it looked like. Let's see what the tests are. That should give a hint. All K's So the first element in here would be, oh wait, that's some kind of odd character. I'm not sure what it is, but anyways, string 0 would be that. All the other characters seem to meet that. Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, do you see it? If you want, pause. It's something dumb that you can probably figure out if you look at what I wrote. So the problem was, I said if string is null or empty, then we're going to run our logic. We don't want to run our logic when we have no input. So what I meant to say was if it's not null or empty, meaning we have a string. So basically this was getting skipped and we were just saying false every time. And then false randomly happened to be correct on some of these, so we got some green check marks. But yeah, that's what happened there. So the details matter. Try it again. Okay, good. That makes sense. That looks good. This should be familiar to you. We've used this kind of technique. Hopefully that was a quick reinforcer. Let's go in and introduce a new concept of doing it. So the other way I chose to look at the problem was, what's another way we could say that all of the characters are the same? And then I realized there was a distinct method. And so if I run distinct on this collection of characters, right, and it only returns a size of 1, that means there's only one unique character in the collection, and hence that would be a condition where I should return true. If I run distinct on this input, it's going to return me A, B, just one A and B. So that would be false. That would be a size 2 collection. And so hopefully you're kind of following where I'm going with that. You can look up in the enumerable class this distinct method, and that's what I will be leaning on for this solution. This is your new concept. I'm just trying to get more of these built-in method names in your head, not saying this may or may not be the best solution, and just trying to broaden your horizons a bit here. You can see a sample usage. They have this age collection and call distinct on it, and you can check the output and notice that 46 only appears once, even though it's twice in here. So that's what we're going to sort of get. I want this collection, and I want to make sure it's a size 1, which means there's only one distinct element in there. I think that's a good way of doing it. So I want to keep this, otherwise I'll refresh. So let's try, if not, it's null or empty, we can do our solution. Run string distinct count, another method to get the size of it. Oops. Now let's make sure that equals 1. Count equals 1. And then to make sure all paths return a value, we'll just leave our false in there again. And for distinct, let's see what I needed to include, system link. Let's make sure we add that. Okay, let's see what this does. Okay, there we go, we got it. New method maybe for you. We certainly haven't used it in this series. Hopefully that's a cool one you can put in your back pocket and have at your disposal when you run into your own problems. The third way, I promised 3 ways of doing this. I wanted to bring back our old friend regular expressions and show a way to do that. This way may be a little artificial, but I figured there was some use in going over it since it's a tough topic. They take time and a lot of practice to get good at. So let's say we try one that way too. I'll refresh. Okay, so the key for this one will be sort of building the pattern and that we check against. You will have to refer to pattern building. You can see these kind of things. I'm going to use this. You notice how they put these entries within square brackets. That means it's looking for lowercase letters, uppercase A to uppercase Z, be uppercase letters in 0 to 9. Basically, alphanumeric input is what this blob means here. Any character it can be. It could be lowercase b, upper Q, 5. That would, that would qualify in here. And then you notice with these digits, they're saying exactly 2 alphanumeric characters. So I'm going to use those portions for what I want to do. Notice we have to use system text regular expressions. We've done that before. So I wanted to say, I'm going to make these square brackets that I can fill with some content. And what do you think should go in here? We're going to do, let's do that thing like we did before, and we just take the first character, right? It doesn't really matter, you could take any of them, but we should be sure there's at least one character if the input's good. And to that end, if string is null or empty string, and I promise not to make the same boneheaded mistake this time, then we're going to run our logic. Or we could flip it. Let's do it this way. If it is null or empty, return false. Now if we get past that, we know we have input. So it's going to take the first letter and wrap it up in these brackets. Then I want to specify a count for them in the curly braces. And so I'm going to do that this way. And the count is the string length, right? And we want exactly that number. We're looking for a match of, it's going to match the length of our input, and it's going to make sure that the only character accepted is that first character. Pretty similar to our other approach, but this is a regular expression approach to doing it. Admittedly, it's a little bit forced here, but hopefully it helps. System text, regular expressions, I believe. So we got a pattern there. Let's close the statement with a semicolon. And then we can run our regex isMatch method on our input and our pattern. If I did this right, this should do it. Let's check it out. Cool. Yeah. So that looks good. You refer back to that regex page if this looks a little weird. Essentially, with that first example of all A's, what this would look like is something like this. You'd get the letter A filled in, and I think the length of it was 5, so a 5 would be generated by this string length, and it'll get inserted between here, and that's sort of the pattern that was matched against. So 3 different ways of doing that. I hope you found those helpful. Hit me up with questions if you have any. Thanks for watching.